a lot of in a lot of medieval settings, they did wear a level of chain beneath stuff like that, but only if it's like partial plate, which would be medium armor, which would not be good for him. He'd actually lose out on that.
Sure.
So I think I might have to just say flavor-wise, he'd probably wear the chainmail beneath plate if he actually gets it, but that's a long ways away. That's the kind of thing. I'm looking at just like the random equipment, and there's almost nothing he would spend money on right now. Which is a weird thought as an old school RPG player. There's always something you can buy to upgrade. And all I can think is he's going to buy a couple of javelins to just restock on that. He's going to buy some rations. He's going to get some repairs done on his armor and his weapons just in case.
I mean, I've always found, as far as RPGs go, you find stuff better than buying stuff. Like, you find better loot than you do going to a magic shop and buying something.
Well, usually, but I'm thinking, like,
that's true for video games.
What was I playing? Like in... So the most recent RPG I played was Kingdom Hearts. So, yes, you do find stuff, but you don't find... For Donald and Goofy, they're the ones you have to buy for. You don't find the drops for them until you're already on, like, Tier 3 to Tier 4 weaponry. So you've already bought several upgrades by the time you start getting drops.
Sure.
So,
And
that's what I'm coming here.
I'm coming from the other way where, like in WoW, most of the shops are just, gray item
MMOs
shops.
do it a little bit differently. So they kind of change a little bit.
MMOs are a bit...
But there's still
shops are more for
usually a
restocking.
small upgrade that you can get, even if it's like in Final Fantasy 14, which is my MMO of choice. Yes, you might only be able to buy a gray, but if you're living in level 14 armor and you're level 26, you'll settle for a gray, and it's still an upgrade of some sort. So it's kind of a weird thing to go, no, there's no upgrades I can do. He's saving his money for tithes and for food, and for right now, the money's just going to kind of sit there in his pouch. It's such a weird feeling. He's going to have to buy more soap. That's also going to happen. He hasn't used it yet, but he will be using it when they go to sleep. He'll have to buy more soap. He's going to donate the cursed longsword somewhere. Yay, organizing the handouts. Can you, Hockey, can you throw in a generic empty notes handout?
Yeah.
I'm keeping notes in my bio about stuff like the arena and stuff like that, and it's like, well...
You want everybody to have access to it?
If they want. Because I'm sure some other people also take notes about just the random stuff that you throw in, the little hooks.
There you are, sir.
Yep, thank you. Let me go drop a couple things into that. Yeah, I think, let me drop that stuff in there.
Oh, okay. That picture makes a lot more sense to me now. I was like, what's with all these hooks? I don't get it.
Yeah, okay, you
And
get
I'm
it
like,
now?
oh, okay. You're talking about all the hooks that I dropped. I get it.
Yes. So I'm just sitting here and
I have a rule as a DM.
Yeah.
When I'm doing my exposition, I try and always leave, like when I want you guys to act, I try and think up of at least 2 or 3 things that are happening at the end of the exposition so that you guys can react to it. So for instance, approaching the gate, there was those 3 things.
Yeah.
Coming into the city, there was a few things. Going to, to the Fort Falstead gate, going to the inn, all this different stuff. I try and leave it so you guys know that there's a clear separation from when I stop talking to when you guys can act. And usually what ends up happening is there's a whole bunch of hooks that are that are there that you guys can bite on or not.
Well, not just that, but stuff like when when Psycho and Kai were doing their Laurel and Hardy bit into the magic shop, out of nowhere, it's like, they decided they wanted to investigate. So it's, well, you also have, now we have an entire new elf group. Now we have a guild.
Yeah.
Now we have,
Yep.
and we're going to investigate maybe half of them. But it's like, all of a sudden we were blessed in overabundance, and the main quest line is still going. So it's one of those like, well,
you have to sit and think, what is the main quest line?
Yeah.
You guys finished a large part of it right now. You just did.
Oh yeah. But it's kind of one of those, a lot of what I'm seeing in this strikes me a lot of an Elder Scrolls style game.
Sure.
We got that winding quest that's over there that we have to kind of discover, and here's a crap ton of side quests.
Yep.
And so it's like, it ends up being a little bit, stop hitting keyboards, you. Nope, stop touching things. My dog is in my lap, and she's kicking at the keyboard. Which is opening up windows, and I don't want that to happen. Especially if she accidentally kicks the close recording button.
It's interesting because I can see how you guys see them as side quests, and in my head and in my notes, it's like, okay, how are these all connecting?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at the hooks that I'm seeing, and I'm going, what would I actually act on? Some of it is like as a genre savvy player, it's, I see that one, I see that one, I see that one. This one looks interesting. This one looks like a red herring. This one, and then I sit there and I go, but what the hell would I actually pick up on? And Rede would be mildly interested in the Colosseum, but he's more interested in the kid who dropped his books. Unfortunately, we were beyond that and couldn't really turn around. But it's like, that's the thing that he'd catch interest. He wouldn't, he's sitting here listening to the whole exposition with, with Ribura here, and he's gonna be having a minor thought of, this guy feels a little bit more important than he should be, and then it kind of flitters away because all of a sudden, oh wait, what does he have against the church? That's not okay. I have to go check that out. So it's got this weird feeling of something that probably should have been a plot hook, I completely ignore. Something that shouldn't be shouldn't necessarily be a plot hook. Nope, we're making that important right now. That right
well, and honestly, as a GM, the plot hooks that don't sink in, I just cast aside because that's not what you guys are focusing on. So in reality, it's what you guys focus on that become plot hooks.
Yeah,
I could describe, 12 different people walking down the street, and if you think one of them's interesting, suddenly that's a plot hook.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of those.
And it could be a red herring. He could have, a sick son at home and needs help, with, the medicine is too expensive, or there's some curse that's been placed on him or something. Or it could just be, I'm a normal guy and life's tough, and I'm going to work.
Oh, well, watch out! Players will turn that one, the boring one. Yeah. That one's going to become the 5-episode thing.
But then it's boring, And if they insist and they keep wanting to keep on it, that's where you switch on your DM switch and you say, okay, this guy is interesting. He's actually a spy for a different company, a different country or something.
I like that idea. It's interesting, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think, like. I was trying to think, as Rede was leaving, it's like, what would he ask about? What would be important? And I knew that he would ask about the religion thing, because that would catch his interest. I knew he would ask about places to identify things, because medallions tend to be important. And then I'm sitting there going, Rede's going to look at this place. It's really fancy. What charity did they care about? And he'd be more interested as a curiosity thing, but all of a sudden, no. These really important people you heard about 10 minutes ago from the NK, no, they need help. It's like, oh, yeah, that has to happen. No, we're doing that. It's going to take 2 days. That's fine. I'm sitting here anyways, waiting for this guy to come talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just got this very cool design, and I just don't know how much Rede's going to act on it.
Well, it's up to you and Rede.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're saying that don't let those personality traits rule him, but it's also like,
what I mean by that is it's almost like alignment. You choose something at character creation, and that's the snapshot of your character at that moment.
Oh yeah.
All of the experiences since then till now have impacted your character, so use that.
Oh,
You know,
no,
it's almost like
Yeah.
Adrik. You know, Adrik is a very much different character than he was when he was created,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
because of all the actions that he's done. And Rede is the same way. And Rede has this core where he's trying to stay true to his family honor, stay true to his country's honor, and all this different stuff. But he also is impacted by his companions and his past experiences. So if you yourself as the player are thinking this is interesting, you know, and then you foil that by saying what would Rede do in that situation, you could easily say, well, Rede would be interested because this you know tips him off. He had Amos Stanwyck back in Altimer Cove who was a dick to him, so this is, you know, signaling to him there's something more than meets the eye. Transformers. But
I mean,
it's
yeah. I think the thing I'm concerned about is I'm concerned about going.
What I'm saying
too
is just play your
genre
character,
savvy with it,
you know? Right. And I don't want it to be very raw or very rules as written, you know, oh, you have to be within the four corners of your player sheet, you know, you have to play
Oh,
within
no,
that. That's what you have to
absolutely.
do. So I would rather you be unconstrained than be constrained.
Well,
And
but
if it gets bad, then I can rein you in. But it's also something that's, you know, it's cool trying to stick to the ideal. And I think that's awesome, and it works because that's the way you've played Rede and how Rede is. I just don't want it to turn away from being fun because, oh well, I can't do that because my character
Oh
wouldn't
no,
do that.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not fun. It's a different thing because usually characters I play them a little bit more fast and loose than I'm playing with Rede, and so occasionally I'm glancing at his character sheet and going, you know what? No, that wouldn't work out. You know, he wouldn't do this. And, you know, some of those things are coming out, but it's more I'm trying to build on what was already there. He may eventually stop caring as much about authority, but he's grown up with it his entire life. A week and a half of being with a group and dealing with this is not going to change that. So it's not me saying it's not me bitching about being constrained. It's, this would have gone very differently if I didn't take that constraint.
Sure.
But also, if I acted differently than it would be me as a player metagaming it, which I specifically do not want to do.
Sure. No, and I understand that. And
it's
you
just
know,
kind of that weird
honestly,
moment between do you metagame to push the plot, or do you take a step back and saying, you know,
well, ultimately, you know, it is my job to make an interesting story, but ultimately it is up to the players to be interested in the story, and there is that social contract there where you can't be the loner sitting in the corner of the bar, or you can't be the murder hobo ruining it for everybody, you know. But it is interesting to think.
Dretan, and he's doing things.
No, he's actually not a murder hobo. He's just a smart ass, is what he is.
He really is.
So I always have to think, okay, how is this NPC going to react to Dretan's mouth? How is this one going to do it? But I was thinking in the middle of this session how different it would be if Adrik were here and what he would be doing.
Yeah, it would. It makes a lot of different things, and I think that's part of. Rede would have bounced off of Adrik a lot more than he would now, because Zixo naturally takes over some of those conversations. Rede wouldn't argue with that, because he'll take the lead, but he doesn't see himself as the leader. So it kind of makes things a little bit different. Adrik mouths off a little bit more. Dretan you could ignore, he's making a smart-ass comment, but Adrik specifically starts asking questions and doing things. Yeah. So it would have, I don't know if it would have changed some of that, but I think Adrik would have argued with, you know, the High Lord a little bit more, would have been a little bit more mouthy with him, you know, sparking off a little bit more thought, and then, you know, I'm sitting here going, I don't really like this guy. Rede's ignoring it. If Adrik said something, Rede might have thought, oh, wait, hold on. That doesn't seem right. Now that you point that out, that's absolutely... It's gonna be interesting in 2 weeks, seeing what Adrik says and how he kind of changes the dynamic. Gonna have to get him caught up.
Very much will be.
No, it's absolutely fun. I'm enjoying taking a step back and kind of watching the party move. You know, it changes a lot of stuff when we don't have a couple of, or in like situations like this where the dominant personalities don't drive us, and we have time for, Kai, who's a lot quieter and typically shoots his bow, and then, he's just dealing damage, he gets to take control and say, no, this is how we're going to do things. Even if nothing got done when they were doing their shopping, it was hysterical, and it was a lot of interesting new stuff you could add.
I feel like I could have said a lot of things better.
Well, you don't have to say it better. It goes exactly the way it's supposed to go. James and I were sitting here, and we're kind of laughing at it and metagaming, going, major city, we're not in the sticks anymore, prices rise. But also, two elves
I didn't know that.
wouldn't think about that, so they would totally be caught by surprise. So this is a totally natural, response, and it's totally, it's a fun event, even if nothing comes of it. We get a little bit of fun, we get a couple laughs, we get a couple plot hooks. And then those two get to have that moment of, human society is really weird. Which was such an amazing comment.
Yeah, it was.
That comment was so good. But no, we absolutely need that. It is definitely good stuff.
Yeah. It was the first time I've ever played D&D where I actually got into a city like that, so that was like that was a genuine response from me.
Yeah. I'm so used to stuff like I played a lot of Baldur's Gate and stuff as a kid, so I saw as a kid that price hike. So it didn't surprise me. I
played Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
The price hike, it wasn't that much.
Elder Scrolls doesn't have the power hike though. That shield +2, even though it's only a +2 to AC, that's gigantic.
Yeah, no, I know. +2 is not like tiny. It's huge.
Yeah. So, but we're thinking like in MMO style, when you think an upgrade, you're going, okay, +1 to armor, I'm gonna get hit 1 less time out of 100. +2 AC is I'm gonna get hit 4 less times, 5 less times, 6 less times out of 100. It's a much bigger increase.
You have an AC of what, like 18 right now?
Yeah,
you get that shield, you're 20. That very much narrows down the amount of times enemy can hit.
Absolutely. So it's a much bigger thing. I was sitting there and I heard Hockey mention the javelin of lightning, and I'm sitting there going, I might be interested, but I expect that's going to be a lot of money unless it's a really crappy javelin. And it's like, nope, big numbers. Ah, okay, it's actually good, and it's not going to be here when we get back.
Yeah, the thing about that is, as well, is you can also make the trade-off if we actually had the money. Would we be getting Rede a plate mail, or are we getting him this thing?
What? See, that's where me as a player, I would probably try to derail the conversation. Because that's saying going, the entire party pools their money together to give one character an upgrade doesn't fit. That's
the way I go
would
about
never give into it. Adrik might. Zixo would probably say no, he's got something more important. Rede would never say yes in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's this kind of moment where, I'm sitting there as a player, genre savvy, oh, absolutely, give me a better tank. I'll keep on wading in and doing stupid things. But as a character, it's like, no, dude, we need food. We need, look, the horses need food. Look, you especially need a bath. We have other stuff for this money. Let's go, that's that thing. And your 1 pinch of ice stone powder.
I didn't end up getting it.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. I was sitting here I was looking at the whole chart that I have of the magic items. I was like, they have like 150 gold pieces, maybe. They're not going to be able to get anything.
Yeah, I mean, you get the
guys
basics
have
stuff.
shots?
Like, I'm seriously sitting here considering, would Rede buy a throwing dagger or two? Because there was a situation earlier where having a throwing dagger would have been amazingly helpful.
You have a dexterity of 1.
Yeah.
I guess it's thrown. You could use your strength modifier.
It was more for utility. He had a moment where he needed a ranged attack that he couldn't do because javelins can't be dual wielded like that. So he'd probably think, And he's seen Dretan throw daggers, he's seen Adrik throw daggers, so I can see the thought going through his head, maybe that would be useful. And then I'm thinking to myself, but he's not Link. He doesn't have unlimited space. He has to put it somewhere. His left arm's going to be taken up with his shield. He can't throw with that, so it's not going to happen. But damn if it could.
I haven't gripped the shield in real life, but I know there's some that you can like sling your wrist through.
If I'm picturing it
Could
right...
Could that hand be gripping a sword? I mean, not a sword, like a dagger? Like under
Usually
it?
No, you can't dual wield with a shield.
Usually the way those work, you know, your arm goes through a couple of kind of like leather straps through the shield that holds it onto your arm, and then your hand is gripping a handle on the far side to give you angling and more control over it. If you let go, it falls.
Well, according to the rules, you can let go to hold on to your holy symbol for like a cleric or a paladin to cast a spell.
But that's just a moment. You wouldn't be able to actually wield it because the shield would be constantly impeding you. Like one strap would generally be around like middle forearm. The second strap would be almost at your elbow, so it's incredibly unwieldy.
It's a shield, though. It will keep you alive.
Oh, it is, but you wouldn't be able to hold the shield and also hold a weapon. Like you'd have no range of motion. You'd probably stab yourself on accident.
Is there a feat that gives you like a shield bash at all?
Yes, Shield Master.
That gives you shield bash.
Let me look at it because I was looking at it earlier.
All right, you can make an attack. If the attack after the attack, you can roll. Fuck, I don't know if it's to hit or strength.
I'm pulling it up
but
right
you get
now.
to push. If they fail the check, they get knocked on the ground.
Shield's not just for protection, but also for offense. You get the following benefits. If you take the attack action on your turn, you can use a bonus action to try and shove a creature. If you aren't incapacitated, you can add your shield AC to any dexterity saving throw. If you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage.
So you're not dealing damage with it. You're shoving, which that's useful.
I'd love to add in like a bash that has a chance to stun, like a low chance, like a DC.
I'm an old
DC
school
10 or
Paladin
something
player
to
from
stun.
Final Fantasy. I love the idea, but it's I like the idea, but it's also, when would you use it? In what situation would you rather bash your shield than attack with your weapon? You know?
Yeah, I mean, to make it worthwhile, you'd have to do a bonus action, but then that's OP, because then you have your regular attack plus a shield, a bonus action to try and stun every single time.
Right.
Does bonus action like cancel out extra attack?
As far as I understand, extra attack is just that when you attack, you choose to attack a second time. The bonus action is a completely separate thing.
Yeah, there you go. That's the thing you could add to Reed. Maybe you can give him a shield bash attack that takes up his extra attack, but have a chance to stun.
But then he's able to do that every single time.
Yeah,
and what you do, you have someone who's bad at rolling a wisdom or an intelligence check or whatever, or a constitution check.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's able to lock him down, and he's not able to do anything.
Like right now, in order to try to do something like that, I have to do the bullshit I try to do with with the First Empire guy, which is try to grapple to prevent him to do something, which that's multiple checks over time. It could work, but it takes some effort. A shield bash like that is just, you have lockdown, and if there's one thing a paladin probably should not have is that level of crowd control. He should be a threat. He shouldn't actually have that ability unless like a magical item gives it to him. So, give him a shield that says as your reaction, you could do a shield bash to try to deflect an attack. If your opponent doesn't make a DC 14 dexterity or 14 wisdom, they're stunned next turn or something like that. So you have to do something that's a one-time thing, and it has to be not under your control. Otherwise, it's too powerful.
Yeah.
I know. Reed's my plan is, depending on how far we get, Reed's next feat is probably going to be lucky, but got to have an in-character reason. But that's not till level 8. We have a long time till that's even going to be a thing.
Reed getting lucky. That's a bit ironic.
Well, if in-character would fit, if he can make it so the god who's cursing him to be unlucky doesn't hate him anymore, that could be a thing. That's kind of the idea, is to have that in-character reason. I probably wouldn't choose a feat unless I had a reason to do it.
All right, gents. I am done for the night.
Yep, go rest.
All right, good night.
Gargle salt water, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, see you guys later.
See you later.
It was fun, man.
Yep, and that's out for me too.
What are you doing?
I gotta go do some laundry, and then I have to sleep before work. So we're ending a little bit earlier today, which is actually helpful. So yep, I will...
Yeah, that was fun. See you around, man.
I'll see you probably next week.
Yep, for your campaign.
Yep. And
Bye-bye.
hopefully kill you guys this time.